should know by the way you parked your car sideways that it wouldn't last. See, you're the kind of person who believes in making out once, love them and leave them fast. I guess I must be dumb. She had a pocket full of horses, Trojan and some of abuse. But it was Saturday night.
Utter the word Prince, and you've captured an audience around the world. Prince's passing was almost 2 years ago, April the 21st, 2016. Prince left his millions of fans right around the world some of the greatest songs of all time. Little Red Corvette, Raspberry Beret, we had Kiss, Purple Rain. The list is just endless. It goes on and on. Now his sister, Tika Nelson, is heading to Australia along with a cast of performers who worked alongside of Prince to stage the world premiere of Nothing Compares to Prince. Part of the lineup is my next guest, St Paul Peterson. He's on the line right now. Paul, nice to have you with us today.
Hi, Leigh. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
That's a pleasure, mate. Nice to be talking to you today, too. This must be a thrill for you to be coming down to Oz and playing parts that your hero, Prince, was very much involved in with you.
Yeah, it's, I love Australia, and it's so great to be able to come back there and play 2 shows at the Opera House and one the Art Centre in Melbourne. It celebrates the life and the music of Prince. What an incredible musician, writer, producer, really a great teacher and educator. We all of us who played with him learned such an incredible amount about musicality, artistry, all these different things, and we are coming together to celebrate his life. His lineup is second to none.
Paul, you were handpicked by Prince, weren't you?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. When I had just graduated high school, I was 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
The Time had just kind of gone through a shake-up. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and Monty Moyer had gone their separate ways. And to make a very long story short, I came in an audition for The Time on keyboards, and the next thing I knew, Prince and I were picking out swatches of material for a little movie he was doing called Purple Rain.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah. What was it like making Purple Rain?
We didn't really understand how huge that movie was going to be. We thought it was going to be a little B rock and roll movie. Plus I'm 17 and I didn't understand the scope of what he had as his vision. So to make that movie, it was, number one, the first few, I guess, months we were filming, it was freezing.
Mm.
I remember going out to this warehouse, hardly any heat. Poor Apollonia 6 were dressed in barely anything, and at least in the time we had wool suits on. We were playing as their backup band. It was freezing, but what an incredible experience, at age 17 to be able to not only be in one of the greatest rock and roll movies of all time, but to learn how they made those movies and watch Prince pull this all together. It was incredible.
Do you ever look back on those days now and say, boy, I was part of that, and what a thrill?
Well, I never take that history for granted. I'm so honored, and I look back on that with such incredible fondness. What a great jump start to a fun career that I've had to play with so many different people. But I'll tell you what, Prince really instrumental in so many different things with my career. I'm very, very grateful.
Well, as you were saying there, in the training of you too, to get in there with Prince and for him to guide you through, I suppose, as a 17-year-old, that would have been something that you couldn't even pay for.
No, it was... instead of going to the University of Minnesota, I went to the College of Prince.
Yeah, of course.
Literally, different sorts of things in that camp in that short amount of time that I never would have learned anywhere else. It was, we call it being thrown to the wolves. It's like you have to do what he wanted to do, when he wanted to do it, how he wanted to do it. He really had a vision for all of this, and it was incredible to see it all come to fruition in the form of, The Time had a double platinum record, and then Purple Rain, and then, of course, The Family, where he picked me to be the lead singer. He really had a plan. It was incredible to watch. It was just put it all together.
As a youngster, prior to 17, of course, but growing up, did you ever have a desire or any thoughts of becoming a professional muso?
Well, you have to understand something, and is that I'm the youngest of 5 kids.
Uh-huh.
Every one of us we're all professional musicians. We all are, along with my father and mother. They were the hip studio people of the 1940s and 50s and 60s. So we didn't know any better. We all grew up with instruments around the house. Started playing gigs when I was 4 years old on the drums. So I really, I didn't know there was another choice other than musician. So I knew what I was going to do from the minute I could speak.
And you talked there about your parents of the 1940s, 1950s. What studio were they running?
What studio were they running?
Yeah, you say they were running a studio.
Well, they were the hip studio musicians back in those days. They were all on live radio. There's a huge AM station here called WCCO Radio. Before they were spinning records, it was all live orchestras, live sketches and skits and plays and things like that. And they worked, that was their gig. Kind of like the WDR orchestra in Germany. These guys were on a regular payroll. It was a job. Then they'd go after that job and go gig at night. They really had it made. In fact, there was probably more music around their era than there would be right now, for sure.
And as you said, it was pretty hard to escape the music there because they were pros. Your siblings are pros as well, so you were just going to glide straight into it, weren't you?
Absolutely. Otherwise, it would have been, excommunicated from the family, I bet.
You may have become the accountant and look after all the money for them. Did you train?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you train on keyboards? Did you take lessons?
I took lessons from the nuns at a place called the Academy of the Holy Angels from the time I was 4 until I was 14.
Wow.
Funny, I ended up going to high school there, so I ended up in that building for 15 years or whatever the case may be. But they were teaching me the basics, theory, classical music, and when I'd go up to play, what would I be playing? Jazz, funk, Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
They come into the room and they're like, that's not what the lesson plan is. And I'm like, yeah, but that's what I like playing.
That's right. Well, look, it paid off, didn't it?
Right, I think so, man. There was a reason I was playing Earth, Wind, and Fire and Stevie in those practice rooms at Holy Angels.
Yeah, most certainly. What are some of the lovely memories of Prince that you have?
His, of course, obviously, the fact that he picked me to be the lead singer in the family, that's probably one of my... I'll never forget when he did that. We were all sitting around after the time had broken up, sitting in a warehouse where we had rehearsed, and we gathered in a circle, and he said, well, you see that the band is broken up, but we're going to put a new band together. And he pointed at me and said, you're going to be the lead singer. I just about fell off my chair. I couldn't believe it. So that memory is it's like it was yesterday. So to have someone of that caliber believe in you, pick you to be the lead singer of a band or co-lead singer of a band. That band was called The Family. It was such an honor. And again, that history is so important to me and to my career in what I do every day, and the lessons that I learned from that period of time in my life. That's one memory that really stands out to me.
That'll stay with you forever, won't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's not many people on this planet who can say that. And I really don't take that for granted.
How did you feel when we lost Prince? What emotions went through you?
Man, I was teaching at a college. I ran a college here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, when I wasn't on the road, and I received a phone call that said somebody died at Paisley, and I'm like, oh no! I mean, I didn't know who it was. I thought it was one of the maintenance men, and then I found out it was him, and I just was in shock. I called my brother Ricky, who concert Nothing Compares to Prince. He produced Prince back in the mid-'90s. He found out as well. Then we all started calling each other. We decided to all gather together and just kind of be with each other. That was the most, the comforting thing that we thought we could do at that particular point in time. And of course, when we got together, then all of our phones started ringing from all the networks, CNN, NBC, ABC, Entertainment Tonight, all these different things. And we just didn't want to be bothered at that time. We were just in disbelief that we had lost him. So many emotions.
Paul,
grief was so sad and terrible, man.
Paul, it was Prince who gave you the Saint in front of your name, wasn't Saint Paul?
Yeah.
How did that come?
That.
How did that come about?
Just one day he started calling me that. He did not give me a written explanation.
Saint Paul, come here.
He just started calling me Saint Paul, and of course, my very Catholic mother was like, "I don't know if I like that name." I know you love that name, Mom, but I'll try to live up to it.
Perhaps if you had still been learning with the nuns, they would have really appreciated St. Paul.
Yeah, right. They would have went, "What?" That would have flown, probably.
Oh, a lot of fun. Paul, you're coming down here to Melbourne, of course. You'll be here at the Hamer Hall. It's a beautiful venue on April the 29th. It's one concert, as you say, two in Sydney, but one down here in Melbourne on the 29th. Looking forward to meeting you. Also, Keita Nelson and the whole cast and the crew. Look forward to your trip, mate. Have a safe trip down under, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the 29th.
Can't wait to meet you in person, and we're sure looking forward to coming down and carrying on the legacy and the music of Prince.
Paul Peterson, thanks for your time today, mate. Take care.
Thank you, mate. Bye-bye.